So I hate expensive secondhand. I feel like if I wanted to spend a lot of money, I can just go to Anthropologie and give them a backpack of all of my money. Just here you go, take my money. So because I'm this frustrated by expensive secondhand, I feel like there must be a lot of other people who are frustrated too, which is why I went to New York City on my winter break and hunted for the top vintage, affordable thrift shops in Manhattan that are under $30, so that you don't have to. You're welcome. So I stayed mainly around the East Village area in Manhattan, not for any particular reason, simply because I was lazy and Williamsburg, which in my opinion has the best thrift shops, was very far from where I was staying. The first place I went to was Housing Works Thrift Shop in SOHO. Housing Works actually has locations throughout New York City and donates all of their proceeds to help homelessness and AIDS. For one, I love their aesthetic. Even though this is a secondhand store that accepts donations, the artistic way in which they organize and display everything feels totally curated, which is why I included it in this list. I tried on this vintage houndstooth coat, but ultimately decided that I looked like someone's cat lady neighbor who secretly deals drugs in her basement, so that was a no. Also, according to this one Yelp reviewer from 2017, you should check out the West Village location to find clothes that'll make you look like a cool vintage college kid or a middle-aged professor, which I think he wanted to be a compliment, but doesn't sound like one. Next door to Housing Works Soho, they also operate a used bookstore cafe as well. This place is absolutely gorgeous inside and is totally a place where some 25-year-old barista screenwriter named Janet would go with her friends on a Sunday. The books are alphabetized and organized by section, just like any bookstore, and the prices are super cheap. The next place I went to was AUH2O. I absolutely love the concept behind this store, as the owner created it with the idea that vintage should always be affordable. Nothing in the store exceeds $30, with prices generally ranging around $10 to $12. I actually tried on this $18 leather jacket that was clearly from the 80s. In another life, I probably rocked this jacket, but as I'm not Ashley from Best Dressed, I do not have the ability to magic these ridiculously looking shoulder pads away without destroying the jacket. So I put it back on the rack for a braver person to try out. The store is beautifully decorated and organized. Everything has its own section, from the pants, the shoes, the scarves, to the tops, which are organized according to the colors in the rainbow, which makes it very aesthetically pleasing to go through. The jewelry section was also gorgeous to go through, as everything was either on hooks against the brick wall or hanging delicately from a birdcage strung from the ceiling. Also, shout out to Naomi Rose, the girl hanging jewelry on the birdcage, for letting me film here. So actually, when Naomi Rose heard that I was hunting for affordable vintage shops, she suggested I try out FLAMINGO'S Vintage Pound. The prices here actually go by weight. Each clothing piece has a price tag that tells you how much it's going to cost per pound. So t-shirts are usually $10 per pound, making a single tee around $2 to $4. Leather jackets are going to be more expensive, usually going for around $30 to $50 because of the weight, so just keep that in mind when you're buying jackets and denim here. The East Village location has a total 90s grunge feel to it. You can totally find a lot of corduroy jackets, oversized flannels, and black Metallica-esque band tees. So if you're looking for a grunge girl starter pack, or if you're just moving to Portland, FLAMINGO'S is your place. The next place I checked out was No Relation Vintage. When I first came into the store, I thought, wow, what a lumberjack feel to the place, until I realized that this entire time, I was shopping in the men's section. However, it was the last place I went to that turned out to be my favorite find of the day. Rags a GOGO. Even the name of the store has a unique ring to it. Located a subway stop away from the East Village in Union Square, the place specializes in 80s to 90s vintage, though you can find pieces here dating back to 1950. The owner, Joshua Suzanne, is so incredibly knowledgeable about vintage and which cuts belong to which specific era. We were just
talking. Okay.
Yes, for like a while, and like this woman is awesome. First of all, I love your store.
Right on.
Like, it's so affordable, and you have things from like the 70s, the 80s, and 90s.
Little 60s, sometimes some 50 pieces in here as well.
Exactly. Wait, so just like tell me tell me a little bit more about the store.
Well, I've been doing this for over 30 years now of my life, 21 and a half years at this particular location here in Chelsea, New York City, the center of the universe, thank you. My specialty has always been street fashion vintage. So that's what I do. In New York City, we all specialize in something, right?
Look at your outfit. It's just like...
I like putting outfits together, you guys, because
yeah.
I can. Someone asked me one time, why do you dress the way you do? And I didn't really have an answer for it at first. And they were hanging out with me for a little bit, and they looked at me and they said, now I understand why you dress the way you do, because it's your self-expression.
Totally.
And I was like, yeah, that's right. But I think the answer is, why do I dress the way I do? Is because I can.
Can I ask you, like,
Yes.
what eras or, like, what brands you're wearing?
Sure. This is a bit more modern, meaning this is more from, like, the 90s. This is, I would say, is probably 70s right here. These are overdye. This is called a 90s overdye. So in the 90s, we were overdyeing a lot of things in the 90s, you guys. And part of it was, like, a rust overdye. So these used to be, guess what? The pinstripe, blue and white. And they've been overdyed into rust, and look how cool they are.
Nice.
And they fit me, and I had to keep them.
Thank you so much. And I also just wanted to add, like, just like your outfit, like, because you can. Why do I wear mismatched earrings? Because I can.
Because she can. How about that? And why is she doing this right now? Because she can. And
because
why are you watching this right now? Because you can.
Because you can.
Right on, right on.
The first thing that I got is this 70s leather skirt from Rags a GOGO. This was $28. It's real leather. What's really funny is the owner actually was telling me that this label, Casual Corners, because, can you see that? Yeah, basically because it was made in Argentina, she said that this is for sure like a 70s skirt. She wasn't sure whether it was 90s or 70s, but then when she saw, oh, Casual Corner made in Argentina, then she said that this is actually from the 70s, which is so cool. The next thing I got is this very long, ruffled at the end skirt from Goodwill, and it cost me $2. This is actually, I've never had something like this. It basically has like a slit all the way up to like where it starts, so obviously you need to wear something underneath it. I would normally wear this with like a black pencil skirt underneath. I would never, like a few years ago, I would never have bought such a floral pattern, but I'm really excited to wear this, especially with Doc Martens. I always love making like girly things like a little bit more edgy. So I ended up getting these beanies. I have such a tiny head, and whenever I put on a beanie, like that like either sticks up or like it just drowns my head because my head is so tiny. These were $10 each. I got one in neon orange, and I also got one in forest green. The next thing I got is this large men's leather jacket from No Relation Vintage. I do love this jacket, and I've been looking for an oversized leather jacket for a very long time. However, my one concern is that it's a little bit big. I'm going to try to style this with like a lot of like tighter clothing underneath so that it'll have that like boyfriend size look. And this was $20, so definitely under the $30 budget. Yeah. It smells like leather. Okay, I really don't know who wore this, and I'm like smelling it. Oh my god, sorry, Patrick. I don't know. The next thing I bought is this.
Previously on Cynical Duchess.
What should I do? Should I get it? It's like $100. Is that like a waste of money? Like, what can I get with $100? Oh my god, no, like I want it. I want it so bad. I probably shouldn't get it, right? My wallet. Second of all, I just feel like this is such a unique piece. This is 1980s Escada. Escada normally goes for $1,000 easy, plus more. You know, it's vintage. It's inspired by Picasso, and you don't normally see designs like this. This is, you know, very, very unique. And I just felt like this would be a statement piece that I would be able to wear forever and then pass on to my daughters. I don't know, I have no regret. So if I have no regret, even after spending $100, I know that it was the right decision. Seriously, I can't even.